Hey out there, this is March 5th, 2020, and it is just about 7:50 in the morning here in Northern California. And as usual, today I'll get into several subjects. I really like to focus on helping people understand rudimentary, fundamental, basic economic principles and help them to define terms in their own mind and understand the correlation between cosmic, divine, biblical level goings on. In other words, God's will for humanity and how economics has played a role through all of human history. That I like to point out that the most evil men are the top money lovers. And these people will stop at nothing to have what they want. And what they want is money and all the accoutrements that come with money, right? Like the power and the control. And of course, all the material possessions their little heart can desire, and just the status, right? The awe factor. I don't know. It's hard to get inside the mind of a person that's insane. To sum it up, what I'm trying to convey here is that as much as we try, if you're a normal, healthy, decent human being, then you are leaning toward God-given instincts and intuition. And the most important type of honesty is not difficult for you, and that is simply being honest with your owner and the relationship you have with your owner, and how that must supersede everything else. People of faith are typically the most intelligent people, okay, because it's smart to believe that there's a God. So you have to establish certain groundwork to understand this whole idea of God, and that people throw out this term religion haphazardly. I mean, there's all these terms that are bandied about daily in our society, and I just can't help but feel like there's so much misunderstanding. It's wanton, it's vast, and it's not coincidental. It's not accidental. Okay, it's by intent. It's by deliberation, by these most evil men I talked about, the top money lovers. Okay, it's just like you're petty criminal. You got to carry around a purse or pocket full of keys. I've got several keychains for different purposes. I mean, everybody knows what I'm talking about, right? You just acquire keys and you need them, and well, you don't question. You don't ever think, well, why do I have to do this? This is a hassle. I mean, I got to worry about locking my keys in my car and losing my keys. I mean, who hasn't done it? Maybe numerous times. But the thing is that's just your petty street level criminal. Okay, we could solve that problem overnight virtually. Okay, with a universal basic income. It's that simple. Martin Luther King Jr. understood this back in the 60s. Okay, this was one of his ideals, was that he understood you want lower crime rate, you want more contentment in society. I mean, these billionaires that recently, multi-billionaires that came out in favor of a universal basic income. You got your Elon Musk, you got your Zuckerberg, and you got your Richard Branson. All three of them came out because they say, you know what? Hey, just having a kinder, safer, gentler society. Okay, no more said. No more needs to be said. I mean, these aren't stupid men. I'm not exalting them because they're multi-billionaires. I don't care about that. I'm trying to imitate God, emulate God. And what is God's opinion of all of us? It's the same. He's not a respecter of persons. Okay, he's on the level. I mean, look, it's harder for a rich man to go to heaven than for a camel to fit through the eye of a needle. Let's set that straight. It's not impossible. All the things that are impossible for men to understand are possible for God. You don't know the hearts and minds of these people. You don't know ultimately what they're trying to do. Whose side are they working on? The side of God and by extension humanity? Or are they working for Satan and by extension the top money lovers? Okay, these control freaks that will do absolutely anything to get their way. And I strongly contend we lost America in 1963. Okay. And it was marked by the assassination of JFK. Understand, fundamentally, I like to explain this every week I do this video series. I want to establish something, friends, okay? We had a coup. We had a money printer's coup. JFK was in the process of nullifying, for all intents and purposes. We did not need the Federal Reserve Bank anymore, okay? He was already issuing and circulating new dollars. So he had supplanted the Federal Reserve note. Do you understand the implications here and what I'm talking about? So understand, if somebody, some petty thief can infect your life and affect your life in such a daily manner that we all got to pay a bunch of attention to our keys and locking. Did we lock the door? Oh gosh, I forgot. I don't know if I locked the door. I got to go check my car, your house or whatever it is. I mean, just that one little thing, a petty thief that could be ended with a universal basic income. Crime would plummet. I mean, you ask any criminologist, any sociologist worth half a grain of salt, and they're going to tell you the same thing. I'm not making stuff up. Okay, a lot of what I teach is not opinion, it's statistical. It's a fact. So imagine how much we're being affected by this coup. I mean, this wealth imbalance that people are cheering on like it's funny, it's cute, it's a good thing. Oh, the Fed to the rescue of the falling markets, and they're just, got their plunge protection team, and we're going to lower interest rates. We're going to manipulate markets right under your noses. We're going to dilute the currency. What do you think money printing does? What do you think this national debt does? And who do you think is paying it? Those that can least afford it are paying it. We're creating more poverty, more financial hopelessness. People can't get ahead. This is from ancient days. This is just slavery being normalized right under our noses. They've done it over a long period of time. Yes, and 1963 was that time. Sure, there's been steps since then. They couldn't move fast. There's been increments when they got off the gold standard. Okay, that bailout of '08 was another big turning point for the bad. Okay, but you know what? They had to do it slowly. It's the analogy of the frog getting the frog cooked in the pot of water is perfect to understand how this scientific, it's science. I mean, the science of cooking a frog, the science of stealing the wealth of a nation. And what is a nation? A nation isn't anything except a geographic blob without the people of the nation. That's what makes a nation wealthy. That's every single nation's single greatest asset and resource. Hands down. No ifs, ands, or buts. No equivocation. That's a matter of fact. What more can I say? That's not my opinion. Nothing gets done without a workforce. Do you understand how imperative it is to the welfare of any society? And then we vaunt only the highly educated and say, oh, they're worthy of making these fantastical sums. But the average Joe out there, these unskilled, it's common labor, right? We got to dupe somebody. We got to steal from somebody, so we're going to do it from them. And that's what they're doing. That's how they're stealing it. You understand? By diluting the money. Do you understand? They're watering it down. So they're taking what started as a concentrate, and they just keep adding more to it to make it spread it thinner. And they don't care. Why don't they care? Because they just take more and more. It's all about a numbers game for these people. People are all focused on the numbers instead of the worth. Okay? It's one or the other. You got to say, what is the worth of my asset as opposed to what are the numbers of my... You see what I mean? They've got us all crazy. They've affected and infected our society in such a profound, tangible manner. I mean, remember, if some little petty thief that's going to dare go in your house or in your car or whatever it is, okay, you're affected every day by that. Your paradigm, your life, your reality is affected profoundly in a tangible way every day by keys because a petty thief, and that problem can be solved like that, lickety split. Along with a whole lot of other ones, my friends. If you count the pros and cons, do it yourself. Write some pros and cons of a basic universal income. So we have ended desperate poverty. Anything it takes, whatever it takes to thwart the evil bankster class. And that's what it's going to take at this point. I don't like giveaway programs any more than the next guy. But you've got to see what's going on here. This silent, deadly collusion. Who is colluding with who? Okay, let's ask that. The Labor Department is in on it. They have to be. It's deliberate what they've done. There's such a thing called the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, and it can be calculated. It's a simple mathematic equation, calculus. It's not a mystery. Okay, so all through the decades, decade after decade after decade after decade after decade after decade, and then some, well over half a century, every single year within each of those decades, the Labor Department has not given an adequate, and by adequate I mean commensurate, proportional, equivalent cost of living adjustment to minimum wage workers. And that, my friends, is not an accident. Okay, you're not incompetent. You're not stupid. Okay, you're not working for the best interests of the people at large. Because minimum wage workers are the people at large. Because there's a lot of people connect just a little above. Oh, they're doing better. So, oh wow, you're making $1 more. Hey, you know what? Or $5 or $10 even now. You understand? I mean, it could have prevented all these problems. This runaway debt, this wealth imbalance that, I mean, it seems to see no end there. I just see a local report. I can't stand to watch it for long. As soon as I hear the first words come out of the reporter's mouth, I got to turn the channel. But they're saying, oh, speculators, flippers, they say. They're high profits now, is what they're reporting. I don't even know where they're talking about, probably California. It sickens my heart. I'm so scared for people and their stupidity. I mean, it's going to take literally like God's wrath to befall us. It's predicted. Christ predicted it. It's like going to be like in the days of Noah before people understand what hit them. I mean, this is crazy. This collusion I'm talking about. Listen, my friends, this is all about enslaving the masses. Okay, I mean, it is a cruel thing. Just say this is the way capitalism operates. That's not true. Capitalism has a definition, and it has to do with supply and demand. What happened to the VCR should have happened to housing. Compare how many man hours it used to take 100, 200 years ago to build a home with hand tools, strictly hand tools, hand saws, hand drills,